Hello, wonderful person. Welcome to Stories Quick. Today, I will explain an American mystery thriller titled Promising Young Woman. The movie begins with Cassie Thomas, a medical school dropout who spends her nights feigning drunkenness in a club. And one night a man named Jerry takes her to his home, and she reveals her sobriety while he tries to take advantage of her. In the morning, Cassie goes to her house and brings out a list where she writes the names of the men she has gone out with, including Jerry's name. Years earlier, her best friend and fellow student Nina Fisher was raped by another classmate, believed to be Al Monroe, and there was no investigation by the school or consequences from the legal system. Now, Cassie spends her nights feigning drunkenness in clubs and bars, allowing men to take her to their homes and revealing her sobriety if they try to take advantage of her. After this, she goes to her coffee shop and talks with her work partner Gail, who tells her that a friend of hers saw Cassie at the club, but she denies it. The following morning at her workplace, Ryan goes into the coffee shop and recognizes Cassie as his former schoolmate at Forest Medical School. He expresses his shock about Cassie working in a coffee shop, since she went to medical school. After this, he apologizes to Cassie for being rude and tells Cassie to spit in his coffee, which he won't mind. Cassie spits into his drink, which leaves him surprised, but immediately Cassie asks if they can go on a date. Later, Cassie watches a makeup tutorial and dresses up with full makeup. She meets up with Neil, who together sniff cocaine, but soon he tries to take advantage of her, thereby making Cassie reveal her sober self. Neil asks her if he thinks they have a connection, but she asks him questions that he can't answer. She, however, commends him for waking her up. Neil then calls himself a nice guy, which gets Cassie very angry. She tells him every guy she has met in the club calls themselves a nice guy. They all come over to her and offer to help her, but all they want is to make hormones fly. She asks him if he still wants to F her, and he tells her no. On her way out, Cassie tells him no one does and leaves. At night, after getting home, she looks over at her picture with Nina, as she includes Neil's name in her book. The next day, her parents at the dinner table wished her a happy 30th birthday, while giving her a gift. After this, her mother expresses her disapproval about Cassie not getting her life in order. She doesn't have a good job or a boyfriend, and she lives with them. Cassie's mom also blames her for dropping out of school. Cassie then opens her gift and sees a box, implying she needs to move out. She is upset and thanks them by leaving. After this, Cassie is now at the coffee shop and tells Gail about her parents' gift to her, a box that directly means they want her out of the house. Gail then asks her to leave, but Cassie tells her she can't afford to leave, and that she doesn't want any of the things her parents want for her. Cassie further explains she is not ready to settle down. While talking, Ryan asks Cassie why she gave him the wrong number. Ryan then expresses his feelings, but Cassie tells him she is not looking for a relationship. He tells her they can be friends. After this, Ryan invites her on a date later. Cassie, at home, prepares for the date. On her way out, her parents ask where she is off to, and she tells them she is having lunch with a friend, while smiling. After this, she and Ryan meet and catch up on their lives during lunch. After, Ryan asks Cassie to come over to his house, but she declines his invite and goes to her place instead. The next day, Cassie visits Ryan at his workplace and apologizes for ruining their date. She asks if they can take things slowly. Ryan then invites her for another date. The next day, Ryan goes to the coffee shop and talks to Gail, who asks him if he had killed a child before, just joking with him. Soon after, Ryan talks to Cassie and asks if she is still in touch with their former classmates, and Cassie tells him no. He tells her he is still friends with his group, including some people Cassie knows. He tells her Madison now has twins, and Al Monroe is getting married. On hearing this, she tells him she thought Al was not around, but he tells her he is back and now works at his workplace. Later that night, Cassie browses about Al Monroe and gets angry about the comments she saw on his page. She begins to plan to exact revenge on Al and others who she believed were responsible for him getting away with the rape. The following day, she meets another former classmate and friend, Madison McPhee, who, after asking her about the past event and why she dropped out, continues to deny Nina was raped. Cassie, after this, gets Madison drunk and hires a man to take Madison to a hotel room. With no memory of what happened, Madison leaves several distraught voicemails for Cassie, who does not answer them. Next on Cassie's target, Elizabeth Walker, who is the medical school dean and dismissed Nina's case for lack of evidence. Cassie then lures her teenage daughter, Amber, into her car by posing as a makeup artist for a famous band. Later, she meets Walker under the pretense of resuming her education and questions her about Nina's case. When Walker explains away her actions, Cassie tells her she dropped Amber off at a dorm room with drunk male students. A terrified Walker apologizes for her inaction, and Cassie reveals Amber is safe at a diner. After this, she leaves. On getting to her place, Cassie sees Ryan, who reminds her of their date. Cassie apologizes for disappointing him. He still offers to take her out, but she declines, noting she is tired, and promises to see him later. That night, Cassie again lures a man, Paul, Jerry's friend, into taking her home. As they are walking out of the bar, they run into Ryan, who, not knowing what is truly happening, is hurt. She disregards Paul, who recognizes her. The next day, Cassie visits Jordan Green, Al's lawyer, who harassed Nina into dropping charges. At his place, Green is remorseful, telling her he is on leave from practicing law after a nervous breakdown due to Nina's case. After his explanation, Cassie forgives him. Later, she visits Nina's mother, who urges her to move on, thereby causing Cassie to abandon her revenge plans. She also apologizes to Ryan, and they fall in love. After a while, Cassie introduces Ryan to her parents, who thank her for making them happy. Later, Madison confronts Cassie outside her house, desperate to know what happened after lunch. Cassie reassures her that nothing happened. Madison afterward tells her she remembers something and gives her an old phone containing a video of Nina's rap, before warning Cassie to never contact her again. Watching it, Cassie sees Ryan as a bystander. She confronts him and threatens to release the video unless he tells her where Al's bachelor party is being held. Ryan tells her and begs for her forgiveness, but Cassie refuses, calling him a failure. Cassie arrives at Al's bachelor party posing as a stripper. She drugs Al's friends and takes Al upstairs. She handcuffs him to a bed and identifies herself as Nina Fisher. An unnerved Al points out that the real Nina is dead, and he immediately guesses Cassie's real identity. Cassie then asks him about the rape and tells him about the video record his best friend did. She blames him for ruining Nina's life and vows to punish him. Then she starts carving Nina onto Al's abdomen. However, he breaks free and suffocates her with a pillow, and Cassie dies. The following day, Al's best friend, Joe, helps him burn Cassie's body. Her parents file a missing person report, and the police begin to investigate. Ryan tells the detective that Cassie is mentally disturbed and does not tell them she went to the bachelor party. Ending the movie, at Al's wedding, Ryan receives several scheduled texts from Cassie, in which Green is shown receiving a package from Cassie with the phone that has the video of Nina's rape. There is instructions to follow if she does not return from the bachelor party. Also, Gail, Cassie's manager, and a friend find a half heart-shaped necklace with Cassie's name under the cash register. Cassie was wearing the matching half with Nina's name when she was killed. This helps the police discover her burnt remains and the necklace. Soon Al is arrested for Cassie's murder during his wedding reception. Ryan receives a final text from Cassie, signed with her and Nina's names, and the movie ends. Thank you for watching the recap. Please subscribe to our channel to get notified when we post the next recap. See you next time.